What's up, my lovelies? I hope that you are in a cozy spot drinking some hot tea or coffee, and we can dive into my Lazy Girl's Guide to Alaska. This doesn't mean that you are wanting to be lazy in your adventure travel, but it might mean that you don't really want to put the time and effort to planning a big trip and you just want somebody else to do it for you and for some locals to give you the information of the good spots that might be less touristy, that might be where us locals like to hang out, where we like to hike, to eat, the cafes, all of that good stuff. So I'm very excited to share with you all of my favorite places in Alaska, around Anchorage in southern Alaska, down to Homer, Seward, Kenai, all the things. So I'm very excited to share all of that with you. Since we're heading into spring and summer, I kind of want to get into my favorite spring/summer activities. During the spring, around March is the perfect ski season. It's absolutely beautiful. Like February, March this time is perfect for skiing. It's perfect for backcountry skiing, for cross-country skiing, for skiing at our big resort here that is called Alyeska Resort. It's a ski resort. You can stay at the lodge, at the hotel, and you can ski all day. It's absolutely incredible because it has the most amount of light and it's the warmest. So that's my favorite part of that. Another great part of the spring season is that you can ice skate basically anywhere if it's not too much snow. And this year especially has been so perfect for ice skating. There are a couple lakes around the Anchorage area that are very, very nice for ice skating. One of them is Portage Lake. I went there this past weekend and it was gorgeous. You get to skate all the way back to a glacier. Keep in mind, it is a lot of miles of ice skating, so if you don't like to exert yourself for a very long time, then it might not be for you. If you're in that boat, then I would go to Eklutna Lake. This is something that I've done this year as well, and it is a giant lake that has perfect ice, and you can even crust ski. You can go cross-country skiing on it if there's a little bit of snow. And if you want a big adventure, you can try to go up to Rabbit Lakes. They have ice skating up there occasionally if you have no snow up there, and that is about a 9-mile hike both ways. So if you're very adventurous and want to explore the mountains, then I would definitely go up there. In the Anchorage area, downtown, there is Westchester Lagoon. They have that maintained for ice skating basically the entire winter, so I would definitely go there if you want to stay in town. During the spring season, if you are a road tripper and love long scenic drives, I would definitely recommend going down the Seward Highway from Anchorage to Girdwood, or even past that down to Seward. It is the most beautiful drive. You go through the mountains and the inlet, and it is just non-stop breathtaking views the entire time. There are a lot of different places you can pull out and take pictures. Beluga Point is one of them. I would definitely go there. And off to Girdwood, you can explore Little Ski Town in the spring. It's very delightful. One of the things that I love to do in Girdwood is go to the bake shop. It's very famous. It could be a little bit crowded, but if you go in the spring, it might not be as touristy as it will be in the summer and the peak season of winter. A couple other restaurants in Girdwood are Chair 5, which is a great pizza place. Just went there too. It was super fun. Seven Glaciers is the very fancy restaurant at the top of the mountain. The Double Muskie is also very fancy, and the other great restaurant there is Jack Sprat. And if you're skiing all day, going to the Sitsmark Grill is also a fun option. During the spring season, there are a few hikes that are doable, like Powerline Pass, that is up near Flat Top Trail. You can definitely search that up and do that. It goes all the way back to some pretty lakes. It's in a valley of the mountains, so it's not a very hard hike. You could also go on the highway and do McHugh Creek. That is a very beautiful, gorgeous view and not too hard of a hike. You can go as long as you want. You can also try in Anchorage. There are trails in Kincaid Park which you can walk around in. It's great during the springtime. Also, the Hillside Park has some really pretty walking trails along with ski trails. So Kincaid and the Hillside is where I would go. All right, let's talk about summer. So during the summer, there are a bunch of hikes that are absolutely stunning that may not be as crowded as our famous Flat Top hike. I feel like that is very crowded basically every single weekend. If you like shorter hikes, I would definitely recommend the Dome. That is a really good hike. It's not super long, but it's a little bit harder. Another hike that I really like is the Basher Trailhead. That is very close to Anchorage. It's not a far drive, and it's a decently easy trek up the mountain. Mount Baldy is in Eagle River. It's a little bit of a drive out of Anchorage, but that's a really good, decent hike. It's not too long, and then it's decently steep, but it's a good workout for sure. If you like really long, beautiful hikes, there's one in Hatcher's Pass. It's called Reed Lakes, and it is absolutely stunning. It's a little bit harder because it's 10 miles round trip, but it has the change of scenery that is absolutely stunning. It feels like you're on another planet. There's this little boulders area where you have to hop on different rocks to get across the boulder field, which is super fun. There's beautiful waterfalls and lakes back there. That's my favorite hike I've ever done, and I've done hundreds of hikes here. Another beautiful long hike is down in Seward. It's a 2-hour drive south of Anchorage, and it's called Lost Lake. I've biked it before. It's a pretty difficult mountain bike, but if you want to take a whole day of just hiking it, it's an absolutely stunning hike, and I would definitely recommend. If you're a backpacker and you love really long hikes that involve camping, then I would suggest doing the Resurrection Trail. That is a very, very long hike, so if you're very adventurous, then I would definitely try that out. Ask some locals on what gear you should bring, and search up Resurrection and see how many miles it is. I think it's a lot of miles, so it would be definitely a couple days of backpacking, but it's quite the experience. Also, Crow's Pass is just like that too. One of my favorite hikes in Anchorage, it's a medium hard level hike, and it's called Little O'Malley. It's right off of Flat Top. It's not as crowded as the Flat Top hike because that is like one of our famous hikes, and a lot of tourists do that one. But off to the left, you can do Little O'Malley Peak, and that is one of my favorites. It's beautiful, got an amazing view, and it's not as hard as Flat Top. You could also do the back side of Flat Top. We call it the sunny side of Flat Top. It's a little bit easier to do, and it's faster, so I would definitely recommend checking that out. Rabbit Lakes, again, is a really pretty long hike right out of Anchorage. It's not hard to get to, and it's a really great spot if you like longer hikes that are not so steep. There are a few hikes off of the highway that are pretty decently hard. There's Rainbow, there's Bird Creek. You could try one of those. It's got stunning views, and you don't have to go all the way to the top. You can go as long as you want and then look at the view, take some pictures, and turn right back around. Also in Hatchers, along with the beautiful Reed Lakes, there's an easier one called April Bowl that has stunning views. Hatcher's Pass is incredible. It was an old gold mine. It's got a really cool little touristy gold mine town, so you can check that out. All right, that sums up my favorite hikes. Let's go into the cafes around Anchorage. One of my favorite cafes is our local brewery. It's called Kaladi Brothers Coffee, and you can find those cafes basically anywhere in Anchorage. My favorite Kaladi Brothers Cafe is off of Tudor Road, and it has the most gorgeous view of the mountains. If you go there, you won't be disappointed on the view, and the coffee will be amazing. We also have a really fun coffee shop called Black Cup. It's a very exquisite coffee little lounge. It feels very proper, and I just think their coffee is amazing. And if you like London fogs, they have the best I've ever had. We also have coffee huts all around Anchorage. We have Cafe d'Arte, DG's Espresso, a lot of different ones that you can drive through, get your coffee, and go on your adventure. I am gluten-free, and so one of my favorite restaurant cafes is called Middle Way Cafe. They have a ton of options, great coffee, great food, and it's definitely one of the places to go if you're gluten-free. Snow City Cafe is one of the most famous cafes in Anchorage. It definitely will be crowded on a Saturday, but if you're visiting and you have a weekday, then definitely go there for breakfast. All right, so those are my favorite cafe breakfast places. Let's talk about restaurants. We have a lot of restaurants in Anchorage that are very nice. We have the Glacier Brew House, Orso's, Simon & Seifert's, 49th State Brewery, Sullivan's Steakhouse, Ginger, and a couple more that you can research downtown, but those are definitely the top ones to go to. They have the best seafood, fresh catches in the summertime, so I would definitely recommend to pick one of those. Some of the less popular places that I love as a local, there are some Thai restaurants that I absolutely love, and they're not super busy all the time. The first one is Thai Village. That's my go-to spot. They have amazing Thai food. Thai Orchid is also delicious, and Pho Lena is one of my absolute favorites. If you love sushi, Samurai Sushi is my favorite. It's absolutely delicious. Ikiban is one of my other favorites. Silk is a really good place, and Sushi Ya. If you love pizza, we are super famous for our Moose's Tooth pizza. It's crowded a lot of the time, but if you can squeeze in and make it happen, I would definitely recommend going there. And they also have a gluten-free crust. If you like soup and sandwiches, then Bread and Brew is one of my favorite go-tos because they have gluten-free sandwiches, but they have the most delicious combos of sandwiches and soups. If you love burgers, then the Arctic Roadrunner has been here for a very long time. They are loved by the locals. They have great burgers. And if you love Mexican, Serrano's is my absolute favorite Mexican restaurant. You cannot go wrong there. Definitely order a chimichanga or the rice bowl, my absolute favorites. And also El Jefe has the most delicious tacos if you love tacos. And if you love desserts, I would definitely recommend going to see Sweet Caribou. They have delicious macarons and desserts. And if you like gluten-free desserts, then I would definitely go back to Middleway Cafe. They have really yummy cupcakes that are gluten-free. They're divine. If you want some activity ideas on what to do in Alaska, to do in Anchorage, there's obviously the Aviation Museum and some cultural museums that you can definitely check out. However, one of my favorite things to do is go to the muskox farm. That is about an hour away from Anchorage, but it's super fun to see all the muskox and just to learn more about them. And they have like the softest wool ever. They're incredible. Another cool place to go is the Alaska Botanical Gardens. That's in Anchorage. See all of our natural flowers here. It's very beautiful and peaceful to walk through that. We have a lot of different events in Anchorage, whether it's 4th of July or the summer solstice. Sometimes I think every year on the solstice, people bring a trampoline to the top of Flat Top and jump on it on the 21st of June, which is crazy. It's a very fun time and it's a huge tradition. Also with the 4th of July, if you're down here, go to Seward because we have our famous Mount Marathon race. And that whole day is just jam-packed. Everyone is there. It's super fun. It's just a crazy time. If you love cruises and boat rides, Kenai Fjords tours are absolutely incredible. You see whales and these little orcas, porpoises, sea otters, so much wildlife and marine life. You see sea lions just sunbathing on the rocks, and you just see the most beautiful scenery around. I've been on one of those cruises about 4 times, and they are incredible. And if you go down to Homer during the summertime, then they have a bunch of shops on the Homer Spit. It's super famous, so walk down there. And you can even catch a ferry to a little island off of Homer and just explore around there, go hiking. It's just a super fun nautical place to go in the summertime. And if you are an adrenaline junkie, then you might like to try mountain biking. There are a couple trails on Hillside that are so fun for mountain biking. They're called single track trails. So you have your bike on this skinny little trail through the mountains and you have to get all your might up to the top of the mountain, then you get to ride down, which is super fun. There are also a lot of single track trails at Kincaid Park for mountain biking. And if you love fishing, the Kenai River is so fun to take a boat down. You can do those rentals. You can have a guided tour to help you have all the gear and to catch all the salmon. It's a super fun time. Or go to the Russian River, get a camp spot down there, the Russian River Campground or Quartz Creek Campground, and you can just fish right down the river and catch 3 salmon a day. And sometimes they make the limit 6 salmon a day, which is super fun. So your whole family can come back to wherever you were with a bunch of salmon. There's a lot more to do in the summertime, but those are my favorite things to do. So let's talk about the fall and winter. Fall time in Alaska is mostly just beautiful because of the hikes and the mountain biking. Like, it is just the gorgeous colors. There's blueberry picking. Arctic Valley is very famous for blueberry picking. Same with Blueberry Hill, that's near Flat Top. So if you get in there early, you can get lots of blueberries. I was a little bit late to the game and they were basically picked through and I was really sad. But if you get there early in like August, early September, and go blueberry picking, that's super fun to do. Make some delicious pies or muffins. All those hiking trails that I told you about are just stunning in the fall because of all the colors. Then when we get into winter, it gets really cold and it feels like there's nothing to do, but there's actually a bunch to do. Like I was saying, Kincaid trails are super fun to either go snowshoeing or hiking in the wintertime. The skiing is so much fun at Alyeska. Even the trails at Kincaid Park or Hillside, you can go cross-country skiing, you can go backcountry skiing, you can ask a local friend to take you backcountry skiing in the mountains, you can go ice skating on the frozen lakes. Basically what I was saying to do in the springtime, you can do in the winter. It's just a lot colder. But also in, I think like January, we had the northern lights were super close to Anchorage and we could see them so clearly. But between like January and March is when you can see the northern lights. We have been lucky to see them in Anchorage the last couple of years, so that's been super fun. But usually you go up to Fairbanks to see them, and they're just absolutely stunning, so you can go chase the northern lights. If you want to know about all the local stuff that's happening in Anchorage, then you can look on just the website of Anchorage News and see what's going on with events. Even if it's like Christmas time, there's lots of things going on. There are ice sculptures downtown that you can look around. So there's a lot to do in Alaska, but those are my favorite things to do, places to go, hikes, restaurants, cafes. Oh, I was going to talk about waterfalls. If you love waterfalls, Thunderbird Falls is one of beautiful falls. We have, if you do the Reed Lakes Trail, they have a beautiful waterfall at the end. There's Falls Creek that is really beautiful, but I would just check on your maps to see where all the waterfalls are. All right, that sums up my little travel guide for you to show you all the local spots to avoid the tourists, all the places that I love, the most beautiful places, the good places to eat. You will have a great Alaska trip if you do even a couple of these things. So I'm very excited for you, and if you want an even more in-depth like map of where all these places are, then I've actually created one for you. It'll be linked in my Stan store. It's in my link tree. You just press on all of my links and then you check Alaska map. It should be right there, Alaska travel map. And you press on that and you can download it. And I also have a 7-day itinerary if you want to even have more in depth of like scheduling wise what to do. You can check that out. It's also in those links. And so I really hope you have an extremely amazing Alaska experience. I know that it really helps to have a local like tell you where all the good spots are so you can avoid all the touristy areas. So I really hope this helps, and you can download that travel map because it'll be very helpful. I promise you will not regret it, and I will see you in my next video.